I don't know if I believe the thing that people want to tell you, that everything happens for a reason. Especially after someone dies the way my husband did. But it is sort of interesting, the coincidences that seem to occur in life that may turn out to be nothing and may turn out to be monumental.
Apple pie for my birthday. Oh, that's so bad.
He was probably one of the funniest people I've ever met. And funny in a nice way. Funny in a way that didn't mock people, that didn't make people feel badly. It just in a kind of goofy and happy and extraordinarily kind way. It's just the way that he always naturally was. He was that way with everybody. He was working to become a doctor, and his patients were real people to him. They asked for him by name because his bedside manner was extraordinary. He really cared.
Hey, that's a face I love a lot.
How little money did you guys have? There's some very funny stories of how you just invented ways to get around the fact that you didn't have much money.
There were some funny things, like we couldn't afford luxuries like cheese. So every once in a while, our grocery store that we went to would have big sales, like 10 for 10 cheese. And I remember one day, I came home and opened the refrigerator, and the entire crisper was just loaded with cheese. Like the entire bottom of the refrigerator, just bricks and bricks and bricks, like 30 bricks of cheese. We were living in this little one-room apartment. We didn't have any of the extra things like cable, or we never went out to eat. We always cooked everything, and we always bought on a budget. But we had pretty clear plans, and we talked about the children that we would have, and it was all so real already. I was trying to become an opera singer. I was auditioning for whatever opera companies were holding cattle calls, and I finally had an audition. It was the last one of the season, and when the season was concluded, I had made my peace with the fact that I may never be an opera singer. And it was actually that morning that we were sitting on the couch together that I realized that it was enough. Just being me was enough. Just being Manny's wife was enough. Our life, whatever it was going to be, was enough. 20 minutes later, he was dead. He threw back his head. He made this little in his throat. And I said, "What?" Thinking he'd forgotten something, and he didn't answer me. Instead, he drew back his breath in a sort of tight, almost like grunting, snorting kind of way. When he opened his mouth to get a breath, it was full of blood. I stood up and dialed the phone, dialed 911. And his eyes turned like purple gray, the whites of his eyes. So I held him. And it just got worse and worse until he was screaming. And in that moment, the paramedics had arrived, and he drew his last breath. You know it's the last breath because it's different. It's not a breath, it's like an expiration. do you wake up? Who cares? How do you get out of bed and put clothes on and walk to work? Who cares? There were times I would start crying and then I would just sort of lose my strength and fall on the floor and smashing my face against the wall, where I broke the paint. The paint was chipped and all like stuck in the blood on my face and cut my lip. I was so tired. I just wanted it to stop.
There's a lot of things in the world, including myself and everybody around us, like everything's a little bit broken. My name is Tomo Mori. I'm a Japanese native mixed media artist. This is a canvas on canvas collage. A paint strip of canvas fabric with acrylic paint, and then I cut them into shapes. This painting was Amelia's story. This project, this experience remind me that I can die tomorrow too. When I had a miscarriage, I couldn't leave house for months. Like a big part of me died. And it just emotionally and spiritually, like I was in a very, very dark place.
I feel very sad about the life he didn't get to lead, about the world that would have been so much more beautiful with him in it. It's like how when you have a stream of light coming through a window in a dusty house where all the dust glows like sparkling, and it's almost a magical sort of picture. And then when you take the light away, it's just dust. That's how the world feels without him. So just all these magical little memories that were so special for us, all the magic is gone.
What helped during that time?
I joined a widows group, so I met other young people like me who had also been widowed, some of them in sort of similar incidents. And it helped a little bit to stop feeling like I was some sort of freak, to meet other people like me, some of them with children, some of them pregnant. All of us really struggling.
Did you feel at any point that you were starting to turn a corner and a shift was going on in your life?
Yeah, I guess so. I'd certainly never felt anything like it before. It's probably different for everybody, but I didn't really feel that I had turned any kind of a corner until I walked the Camino. It's a series of routes across Europe that all terminate in Santiago de Compostela, which is a huge cathedral, and if I could reach inside myself and find the strength to do something like climbing a mountain, then I could find the strength to somehow get through brushing my teeth. The hardest day, I think, it was another 12th, and I realized that we were 1 month away from the next anniversary. This would be the 2-year mark since Manny died. We were starting out the hike for the day, and I always took notes on what was around me just when we started out. The birds sound like this, and it smells like hay, and the mist is just so, and whatever. And as I was marking them, I went to write the date and realized it was the 12th. And held myself together for another maybe 15 minutes, and then just like a dam burst. Someone in our group sat me down and she told me, she said, "You're holding on so hard to every memory, every little thing that reminds you of him." She said, "Have those memories and then let them go." And I guess it was at the end of the Camino that I realized I had to let him go. It didn't mean that the memories were gonna go away. It didn't mean that I would love him any less, not for a minute. It didn't mean that anything was different, except that I accepted it.
I'm never ever gonna forget the memory of losing baby. But painting was sort of like my very first step of recovery. This piece is called Regeneration. It's a life after the death. Manny was so important to her that like when he passed away, part of her also, that separation killed her a little bit too. But it's something grew, like she regenerate. She converted the energy of sorrow into creative energy. She started doing the music again, and this is about natural healing power, often found in nature like plants, scar tissues. If you let your body heal, I think it wants to heal. I think it's same for the emotion too.
I had stopped singing for years. And then I decided to take an audition again, years later. And when I got the call after the audition, it wasn't for the role that I expected. Normally I would have said, no thanks. And instead I was like, I miss music. So I joined the chorus. And I started making friends. And I started feeling better. It felt good to sing again. I wasn't looking to go get hurt, even by a friendship. When Mark first let me know that he liked me, I was not open to that either. And he said something to the effect of, I just noticed that you are very beautiful and you have a really nice voice that I can pick out in the chorus, and I was wondering if you want to go do something sometime, maybe after the opera's over. That's when I said, no. No, I don't. Sorry, I'm gonna be terrible at any kind of relationship. There was a day where we were all walking together, and the two of us had sort of fallen behind in step of the group. And we passed this little garden, and on the garden gate was this yellow, I guess, clematis climbing the gate. And the sun was hitting it just in such a way that it was glowing. And it was beautiful. And Mark said, I was just noticing that too, and I was gonna go pick it for you, and then I realized that the greater thing was to leave it be. And when he said that, it was like something just spilled in my brain. And I realized that's love. That's grown up, mature, there's no pretension. That's love in every moment. To just let it be whatever it is. I thought, even though I told him I'm always going to love my husband, I'm always going to be sad, he was happy to let me be whatever I was, from bud to bloom to dried up, decayed, blown away. Whatever was me, he loved it.
Motherhood changed the way I paint. I think it add more to my palette. Like, not just colors, just more range. I think I'm more focused about life. And it's like it really lifts my soul.
When Manny died, we didn't have any kind of savings. We didn't have any kind of a nest egg. The times were difficult. It was right after the economy had crashed. He had a small policy through the hospital. It was basically enough to take care of his remains. and the ambulance ride and, you know, the expenses that come with dying. We'd never even really talked about his wishes, because when you're just starting out and getting married and both in perfect health, you don't think of things like that. Why think about something like that? I had on my refrigerator for the longest time this little magnet. It was a picture of a butterfly, and it said, "Never, ever, ever give up. You don't know what's right around the corner." Life's so funny, isn't it? I didn't expect life to go on in such a beautiful way. There's a future again. My child is my future. When you have children, you start making plans. You set aside, you know, a 529, or you set aside life insurance. I want to plan for his future. God forbid something were to happen to me. While he's grieving the loss of his mother, he's not also worrying, are we gonna be able to eat tonight? If Mark is suffering enough that he loses his job or something like that, I don't want either of them to have the additional worry of finances.
I've never seen such strong love, two sets. Amelia and Manny, and Amelia and Mark. Her spirit once died was her loss of Manny, and then she's surrounded with so much love and bounty of joy, like the power of regeneration. It's just amazing when you actually see it.
I want to give you a hug. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you said it all.
I think you made me strong. Yeah.
Hi. It's incredible.
I mean, it's like so much thought into your journey. As Tomo put it very, I think, beautifully, your journey from the dark into the light. And it captures all of that.
Manny would say he's happy for me. He told me in the one argument that we had about his wishes when he died, he said that he would want me to move on and be happy. Now, when I look back on it, I'm awfully glad he said so, because I don't know if I would have been able to allow myself without his permission. It's like a blessing. It's a heck of a thing to get over. In fact, you don't. If somebody says, "How do you do this?" It's a question I ask so many times. My God, how do people do this? The answer is you just do. You claw through it, you swim through it, you walk through it. However you do it, you just